We're back on NBA.com's Fantasy Insider. Rick Kamla hanging out with Dennis Scott. We've been doing so all year. It's been an unbelievable year with this man and with you clocking fantasy basketball. We are back to countdown 10 through 1, the top fantasy players this season across 8 categories. We start at 10 with Jason Kidd. Has had a really magical season, made the All-Star team, unbelievable in assists, steals, and threes once again. Kobe Bryant at 9. We'll have more on him in the Warriors segment. David Lee, the 8th best fantasy player, putting up stupid numbers, and the fact that he doesn't block shots at this point doesn't matter because he's stealing, his percentages are high, and he does a lot of everything else. But Dwight Howard beat David Lee as the Big Dipper, the #1 center in fantasy basketball this season. We'll get to Dirk in just a second. Dwight Howard, if he maintains his lead in field goal percentage, rebounds, blocks, and double-doubles, will become the first player in league history to do that.
Well, I think that's going to happen, unless Stan Van Gundy sets him down the last couple games of the season and numbers come down. But the fact that all year long he's been focused, free throw percentage gotten a little bit better.
A little better.
Being aggressive on the defensive end, you've seen him to block shots. But on the offensive end, scoring with either hand around the basket, I think has been huge as well.
And I can't say that this is the best, season of Dirk's career. It's just right up there with all of the great seasons he has had.
Well, I think Dirk kind of fell in that category as power for a minute, the SOFT. And I think because they're so smooth, they're so tall, they make the game look so easy, they're smooth. So I think you're right. Dirk is just on that pace right now. We're just having fun.
I like that distinction that you made right there. Dirk Nowitzki, the top power forward in fantasy basketball over the course of this season, and thus gets big-ticket honors here on Fantasy Insider. Now, let's get to the real heavyweights, baby. 5 through 1. Check them out. Yes, Danny Granger. Y'all fell sound asleep on Danny Granger with the injury and stuff. Top 5. Dwayne Wade, the Jordan-aire.
Yes.
The top 2 guard in fantasy basketball. Chris Paul, the Stockton Star. Kevin Durant does not get like one of the Magic Men awards, but #2 overall in fantasy this season. What can you say about KD that we haven't already said all year, every show?
Just the fact that he's definitely a MVP candidate for many years to come.
Is he ahead of Kobe Bryant this year, or do you have Kobe 2, Kevin Durant 3?
I think KD may have passed Kobe's last couple of months. His last month or two, I think he may have passed him because Kobe being a little banged up, Lakers struggling, OKC is steady getting better, getting into the playoffs.
I still have Kobe 2, Kevin Durant a close 3rd, but that's another argument for another day. And #1, LeBron James. Let's go back to Dwayne Wade and talk more about him. First of all, let's talk about LeBron James, the #1 fantasy player of all. He is the legend, and he is a legend.
Now, this is a guy I don't know what else we can say about. Every game, every month, he does something to make us say, wait a minute, he's added something else to his game. He's posting up. He's shooting threes. He's running down the fast break, blocking shots. What else can we say until he wins the championship?
I'm worried about him missing games here down the stretch, and we're going to talk more about that in our championship week conversation. Chris Paul, injured a lot this year. We all know that. But when he was on the court, 3rd best fantasy player, by far the best point guard.
Hands down the best point guard, some of our favorites. But the bottom line is that it's a concern, though, for fantasy people and reality about him being banged up a lot here the last couple of years.
Exactly. It's starting to become a trend, and we don't like it. But CP3, we love you. And we love #3 in Miami, D-Wade.
Can you say fresh batteries? It's in the flash. He's like, wait a minute, y'all talking about LeBron too much and Kobe and Durant too much. Don't forget about Flash.
And here's the deal. You see his numbers right there. All right, you're saying, okay, what about the rebounds? He's at 4.9. Earlier in the show, we told you Tyreek, Kobe, and LeBron are the only guys rocking and rolling at 25 and 5. Wade probably is going to make it 4 before the end of this season. We've got to give him that depth. So, there it is, man. The top 20 in fantasy basketball.
And out of those top, I'd say 10 guys, folks, I think you could find 4 or 5 games throughout the year and you just said, wow. We knew they were all-stars. We knew they led their teams in what they do. But each year, or should I say each month as the season went on, they got better.
And here's the thing. One last thought. Kevin Durant's probably the fantasy MVP. We all know LeBron's the #1 pick. You're not getting him at any kind of a bargain. Durant maybe went 4th, 5th, 8th in your league. You know what I'm saying? Finished 2nd overall. He might have been the fantasy MVP. We come back and talk Warriors here on Fantasy Insider. We've got one last Warrior of the week, and we've got the Warrior of the Year. His name is Kobe Bryant.
Jelly Bean Jr.
Dude, literally, a bone has to snap for him not to play.
No, you got to break his hand off.
If he's hurt, he plays.
Yes.
Every time.
Yes.